capital of the Byzantine Empire, which was threatened by Muslim Turks and finally fell with them in 1453. Noble. Italian cities that grew wealthy in trade with the Arab East during and after the Crusades. Sorry, not Florence. Seaports. Venice and were in Genoa, they're correct. Frenchtown, that is the site of the best preserved and what some consider the most beautiful Gothic cathedral. Chartres. Meadow, this is an oldie but goodie, near the Thames River, where the English barons forced King John to sign the Magna Carta. Sorry? Runnymede, correct. French city, site of the papacy between 1307 and 1378 during the so-called Babylonian captivity. Avignon. City associated with the English church, the ecclesiastical center of England, the site connected with the relic of Thomas Becket, where Chaucer's pilgrims were headed. Canterbury. And lastly, named for the region in the Low Countries, famous for its textile industry and its ports. This is a hard one. People in this region speak Flemish. Low Countries. One of the causes of the Years' War, which is the woolen industry. Landers. Okay, how about these? Course of studies in medieval universities: the trivium, Latin grammar, logic, and rhetoric; the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music. Liberal arts. The everyday language of the people of a particular area.
Vernacular.
Essentially use literary words. It's vernacular. Birth narrative about adventures of a hero who undertakes a quest for a high ideal and incorporated elements of chivalry and courtly love, popular in the late Middle Ages among lords and ladies.
Romance.
Romance. Like the earlier epics. The amount that covered labor, cost of materials, plus a reasonable profit favored by the church. Just price. Graceful stone arm that helps support the weight of a cathedral roof.
It's the flying buttress.
Young person who learns a trade from a craftsman.
Apprentice.
Association of merchants or artisans who helped govern medieval towns. Guilds.
Guilds.
Name for a member of either mendicant order, the Franciscans or the Dominicans. Friar, opposed to a medieval school of thought that used Aristotelian logic to support the Christian faith. The attempt to reconcile revelation scriptures with reason. Scholasticism. Last one. Commonly used French term for members of the middle class, the townspeople. Bourgeoisie. The position of a Christian who chooses and stubbornly holds the doctrinal error in the science of church authority. Well, what's the person called?
I heard that.
A military expedition against the enemies of the church. The practice of charging interest on a loan of money frowned upon by the medieval church. Usury. The survey of information about all forms of property taken in England by William the Conqueror, Bell, Domesday Book. A system of law based on decisions of royal courts that became accepted legal principles. A system developed in England in the late Middle Ages. Today is the basis of the legal systems of all English-speaking countries. common law. Common law, and that's something worth knowing. Groups of local citizens in England who would conduct inquests and draw up lists of the known or suspected criminals. Such groups are still part of the legal and judicial systems in English-speaking countries today. Grand juries. The representative body of two houses, one for lords and bishops, the other for landholders and townspeople, developed in England. It used the power of the purse to acquire a greater role in governing. Parliament. What parliament means in French? Parler. Speak. People. Popular lecturer at the University of Paris who had a celebrated love affair with Heloise. In his preface to Sit et Non, he wrote, "By doubting we come to question, and by questioning we perceive the truth." Peter Abelard. Founder of the Order of Preachers, which played a significant role in medieval towns and in the universities of the late Middle Ages. Who? What's the name of the order?
The Dominican.
Dominicans. A Dominic. I said founder. You're absolutely right. It was Dominic, the founder. Giving up his possessions to live as Jesus did, this Italian loved nature, preached to animals, and founded a famous religious order of friars who try to live as humbly and simply as Jesus did.
Francis of Assisi.
Francis of Assisi. A very major influence on Roman Catholic doctrine, this scholastic attempted to reconcile reason with revelation in his Summa Theologica. Peasant girl who lifted the siege of Orleans and revived the French monarchy as Charles VII was crowned at Rheims 10 days later, marking a turning point in the 100 Years' War.
Who is it? Joan of Arc.
English reformer who argued that Scripture alone should be the standard of Christian belief and practice. He urged the abolition of such practices as the veneration of saints, pilgrimages. He also made